Painting in Germany doesn't have that problem. It is massive. An artist collective created the reproduction on the side of a hotel in Berlin. It's roughly 52 feet tall, 36 feet wide, and it took a week to create. Now, after they finished, the artist apparently noticed her smile wasn't quite right. So they had to go and reconstruct the scaffolding and give Mega Mona a slight facelift.
Oh my God! Just a week to create.
Yeah, you'd think you'd had that worked out beforehand, but apparently not. All right, that's our time for now. We thank you for watching. See you back here again tomorrow. Be careful if you're heading out. News 3 starts right now.
And right now at 5, why Governor Tony Evers' decision to order the removal of Wisconsin National Guard members from the southern border is being met with some criticism.
And a scary situation in the Dells as a family staying at a hotel finds needles in their room.
Plus, nearly 25 years later, DNA could solve a John Doe case in Rock County. We'll hear from the man who first discovered the body of John Clinton Doe back in 1995.
From the Channel3000.com alert, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. An Illinois congressman is defending his criticism of Governor Evers tonight over his decision to withdraw Wisconsin National Guard members from the southern border.
Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger, who is an off-duty Guard member, says he has the right to exercise his freedom of speech. Rose Schmidt is here to explain this controversy. Rose?
That's right. Governor Evers' decision to order the removal of National Guard soldiers and airmen is being met with widespread criticism, notably from a Guard member himself, who tweeted asking if Evers made the decision based solely on politics. Wisconsin National Guard troops will make their way back to the Badger State after Governor Tony Evers says there is no justification to keep them there.
That's a decision that's made at a lot higher level than us in the Wisconsin National Guard. We're proud of our service members who answered that call, but at this time we're bringing them home.
But one of those members is not happy with the decision. Adam Kinzinger, a Republican congressman from Illinois.
I'm curious if the governor of Wisconsin ever bothered to go down and see what his men and women were doing in the border to support Border Patrol and to protect the Wisconsin community. Because when I was there, he never showed up.
Kinzinger tweeted that he was disappointed Evers is ordering the troops' removal and went on Fox News to voice his support for President Trump's emergency declaration.
We saw a lot of groups coming across the border illegally, but we saw a lot of drugs. We saw a lot of human trafficking.
Now the National Guard says it's looking into whether to discipline him. But the congressman's office called the idea that a member of the Guard can't speak freely when off duty absurd and not in accordance with Wisconsin state law. The Guard says despite Kinzinger's comments about what he saw, it is important to note that all soldiers and airmen are serving in roles like camera operators, pilots, and analysts, and not engaged in combat of any kind.
None of the Wisconsin troops were serving directly on the border or interacting with individuals entering the country. They were serving in those support and administrative roles to support Customs and Border Patrol.
There are currently 112 Wisconsin Guard members serving in Arizona. After they come back to our state, they will be released from active duty, and most will return to their other jobs or back to school.
Rose, thank you.
The House is expected to pass a resolution today aimed at terminating President Trump's national emergency declaration at the southern border. Democratic leaders say it violates the constitutional balance of power. Only one Republican congressman is supporting that resolution. The Senate will vote next. President Trump says he will veto that resolution if it reaches his desk. All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Our meteorologist Dave Caulfield joins us on the weather patio. Dave, well, how's it feeling out there? Are we seeing any snowflakes?
Well, a couple of light snowflakes are falling on the patio this evening, Eric, and it feels pretty cold out here with temperatures right around 10 degrees. Some freezing drizzle could mix in with this light snow this evening into tomorrow in spots, especially south of Madison, and the commute tonight could be impacted, a little bit slippery and slick at times, so that's something to keep in mind. Give yourself a few extra minutes to navigate this light snow, and here's what we're seeing on Doppler track. Light snow mainly to the north and east of Madison. That's where a winter weather advisory is until later on tonight into tomorrow morning. Just went into effect, in fact. That advisory. A live look in Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam. Hard to see these light flakes, and so that's good news. It shouldn't really impact our visibility at all, but still could be a little bit slippery on the roadways. At 10 degrees, northeast wind at 10 miles per hour, making it feel like it's below zero outside. 14 in Mineral Point, 19 in Janesville, 8 right now in the Dells. When you factor in a wind out of the north and east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, it feels closer to -4 in Madison, -5 in Lone Rock, and -6 in Viroqua. So your day planner for the next couple of hours, temperatures staying in the low to mid-teens and actually rising just a bit overnight with some light snow continuing to fall. We'll talk about accumulations and our next chance of accumulating snow into Friday and Saturday in your News 3 Now First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Sun Prairie police say East Main Street and East Linneroo Drive are back open now after a teenager was hit by a vehicle this afternoon. The 15-year-old boy was transported to a local hospital with what are described as non-life-threatening injuries. Police are still investigating to see if any law enforcement action needs to be taken. They say the driver stayed at the scene and did cooperate with the investigation. A woman on a family vacation in the Dells says she found used hypodermic needles in her hotel room wall.
Police are now trying to figure out where they came from. Amanda Quintana has more on this investigation. Amanda?
Yes, well, the woman who posted about this on Facebook tells me when her boyfriend went to pull the toilet paper roll in the bathroom at the Polynesian Water Park Resort, the entire holder came out of the wall. Inside, she saw about 20 needles. And Wisconsin Dells police are investigating this, saying it looked like those syringes were used. They were removed and the hotel was instructed to inspect all rooms, but they don't know how long those syringes were there. Hotel management is giving police rental records for that room as the investigation continues. The woman told me she's more shocked that her kids could have found these needles, and she's angry at the way the Polynesian Water Park Resort handled it. She says they didn't apologize and they simply offered her an $18 refund. We did reach out to the company that owns the hotel, Capital Vacations. They have not responded to our request for comment, but this morning they told me they haven't heard anything about it.
All right, Amanda Quintana reporting. Amanda, thank you.
Sun Prairie Police Department investigating a threat at the alternative high school this morning. Police say a note was found in the school bathroom about 8:20 this morning at Prairie Phoenix Academy on South Street. That note said the school would blow up at 8:30. The school was evacuated. Students and staff were taken over to Cardinal Heights Middle School while officers investigated. Police searched the school with K-9 officers from the Dane County Sheriff's Office, Madison PD, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Nothing suspicious was located.
Crews are investigating multiple reports of people smelling natural gas on Madison's west side. The Madison Fire Department said its crews, along with Madison Gas and Electric crews, are in the area of Old Sauk and High Point roads. Madison Fire was first dispatched to the intersection of North High Point Road and Wolf Street around noon after a 911 caller reported a very strong natural gas odor. A similar odor was detected a short distance away near High Point and Brule, as well as High Point and Tree Lane. Madison fire crews were cleared from the investigation just after 1 o'clock this afternoon, but MG&E is continuing to investigate the source of the odor.
A 22-year-old Madison man who was accused of brutally attacking a woman earlier this month is headed to trial. Jerome Winslow in Dane County Court this afternoon for a preliminary hearing, which he waived. He's facing 5 felony charges in connection with the early morning attack February 3rd that seriously injured a 19-year-old UW student. Winslow was arrested 17 days after the attack. Police say surveillance video helped investigators identify him.
A decades-old John Doe case in Rock County is one step closer to being solved.
And today, the man who found the remains decades ago says he is close to a moment of closure. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the very latest. Adam?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, Gary Gilbank found the remains of the man known as John Clinton Doe while hunting with his family on their property all the way back in 1995. And since then, law enforcement officials have not been able to identify the man, but a breakthrough with the private DNA company could lead to that changing soon. Gilbank says now, even decades later, the man still crosses his mind from time to time.
During deer hunting season, I think I thought about it every year. And when I was back on the property, in that location, I'd always, just pop in my head that, back in there was, where I found that dead guy.
The Rock County Sheriff's Office says they won't comment on the issue, at least for now. The reason being, they're trying to confirm the results that the private firm called the DNA Doe Project has confirmed themselves. But they did tell me that this update could likely be because of an update to the DNA National Database and that they could have their results within the next couple of months.
Adam Duxter reporting in Rock County. Adam, thank you.
A Madison man is facing charges after he was accused of stabbing his housemate 2 weeks ago. Madison police said 26-year-old Luke Faircloth has been referred to the Dane County District Attorney on a tentative charge of attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Police say Faircloth and a 40-year-old man both rented rooms in the same house in the 800 block of South Midvale Boulevard. For unknown reasons, Faircloth attacked his housemate. Another housemate called 911, and Faircloth cooperated with officers.
One person was arrested. Several firearms and fireworks were seized last night after Edgerton police were made aware of a person on probation posting about firearms on Facebook. Officers searched an address on Mechanic Street in Edgerton and found several firearms, some pyrotechnics, and other fireworks. Dane County Bomb Squad and ATF also responded. Edgerton police say it's currently an active joint investigation and more information will come out soon. Police say there is no current threat or danger to the community.
A train came off the tracks today on the south side of La Crosse. BNSF Railroad says that a locomotive derailed near the intersection of Weston Street and 13th Place South. The train remained upright and no injuries were reported.
The newest mural at Fire Station Number 1 in Sun Prairie honors Captain Corey Barr, who was killed in that explosion in downtown Sun Prairie last summer. This mural was painted by Stephen Brock with the help from Duke Ariel. Barr owned the Barr House and was the captain at the Sun Prairie Volunteer Department. Abby Barr was co-owner of the Barr House with her husband. The Barr House, along with several other businesses, was destroyed in that explosion.
Wisconsin-based Eat Street is expanding its delivery service to Janesville this week. The service will start with delivery for 20 popular Janesville restaurants. For the next 30 days, Eat Street will give free delivery on all orders from restaurant partners that use Eat Street's delivery service. With the expansion, Eat Street is creating 50 to 80 new jobs in Janesville. It's aiming to give back to families in need in that city.
There's more ahead on News 3 now at 5. President Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen begins 3 days of testimony, what he's expected to say about the president.
Plus, President Trump is preparing to meet with North Korea's leader for the second time, this time in Vietnam.
Wall Street tonight, all three major indices closing in the red. The Dow off 34, NASDAQ down 5, the S&P 500 lost 2. And we'll be right back. President Trump's former personal lawyer Michael Cohen is set to begin 3 days of testimony on Capitol Hill with a closed Senate session today.
The committee wants to give Cohen the chance to correct the record after lying to Congress in 2017 about President Trump's plans to build a Moscow tower in 2016. They want to know, did someone tell him to lie? How many other Russia deals did Mr. Trump pursue? And who were his key business partners?
What I intend to keep focused on is untangling the very complicated financial arrangements between Donald Trump and Russia.
A source confirms to CBS News that Cohen plans to accuse the president of criminal conduct in connection with hush money paid to two women who claim they had affairs with Mr. Trump. Cohen reportedly will also reveal financial statements to show the president may have engaged in tax fraud. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement, "It's laughable that anyone would take a convicted liar like Cohen at his word, and pathetic to see him given yet another opportunity to spread his lies."
President Trump now in Vietnam for a second round of talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The two leaders will have a one-on-one meeting and share dinner tomorrow, then hold formal talks on Thursday. Before leaving Washington, the president said sanctions against North Korea are still on, but suggested he may be willing to ease them if North Korea takes, quote, meaningful steps. But lawmakers from the president's own party are skeptical.
We want denuclearization, and I think he'll have a country that will set a lot of records for speed in terms of an economy.
Are you optimistic about the North Korea summit?
No, I'm not. I don't think Kim Jong-un is ever going to get rid of nuclear weapons.
Congressional approval will still be needed to roll back some of those sanctions currently in place.
The highest-ranking Catholic leader ever charged with child sex abuse was found guilty of molesting two boys in Australia. Cardinal George Pell, a top advisor to Pope Francis, was convicted in December, but a court had forbidden publication of any details about the trial until now. The gag order had been put in place to avoid the possibility of influencing the jury in a possible second trial that is now not taking place. Pell was in charge of the local church's program to combat sex abuse at the time of the alleged crime. He has maintained his innocence. Pell's attorneys have filed an appeal.
Nearly 200 Amtrak passengers are finally off a train in Oregon after being stranded for more than 36 hours. That train was traveling from Seattle to Los Angeles when officials say it struck a tree that had fallen on the tracks in Oak Ridge, Oregon, Sunday. With more than a foot of snow on the ground, passengers had to sit tight while crews cleared those tracks. In a statement, Amtrak said with local power outages and blocked roads, it was decided the safest place for customers was to remain on the train where they could be fed and had access to heat, electricity, and restrooms.
They were so professional and so kind, and we really wanted for nothing except for maybe someplace comfortable to lie down and a shower.
Amtrak says it'll provide refunds and other compensation to those passengers.
Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at your forecast. Dave?
Well, Charlotte, we have snow chances in our forecast for every day this week in some shape or form, and snow is falling right now across southern Wisconsin. It is very light, and there may be some freezing drizzle trying to mix in at times throughout the next 24 hours, especially south of Madison. Overall, though, this is a pretty light snow event, so shouldn't see any major impacts, but just enough to make things a little bit slick for the commute this evening. So give yourself a few extra minutes. Most of that snow is falling north of us, but we can start to see the radar picture fill in a little bit, and some of the snow may be so light that the radar not necessarily picking that up just yet. A live look downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Some light snow falling at times. This isn't going to be a constant snow event, but just enough where we need to give ourselves a few extra minutes and take it slow out there. About 1 to 3 inches of snow overall by the time we get to later on Wednesday, and both the commute tonight and the commute tomorrow morning may be impacted for some of us. The winter weather advisory is actually not in effect for Dane County on this round because that snow will be a little bit stronger to the north and east of Dane County, and that advisory just went into effect at the top of the hour. And it's conceivable by the end of February, which is just in 2 days now, shortest month of the year, definitely does not feel like it. We could be moving up the charts as far as snowiest Februarys in Madison right now in 7th place for 2019 at 21.5 inches of snow, but it only takes a couple of inches of snow to get us closer to about third place. I don't think we're touching first and second anytime soon. Temperatures are in the low teens in Madison, in the upper teens in Janesville, 14 in Watertown, in the single digits in the Dells. So it is cold outside. And when you consider the wind out of the north and east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, feels like -4 in Madison, -3 in Mineral Point, and -5 in Lone Rock, -6 in the Dells. Temperatures will become the major story as we get closer to this weekend. We're keeping an eye on our upper air pattern. This measures temperatures in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That usually gives us a good sense of what we'll see where we all live, in the lower levels of the atmosphere at the ground. So we can see that an active period of weather staying with us for much of this weekend. Then we get that polar air into town by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. We could be talking about record daily lows in some spots across southern Wisconsin for Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and into Monday and Tuesday as well. Things are staying very, very cold. On future cast for tonight, we're looking at temperatures staying in the teens. About 1 to 3 inches of accumulation of snow is possible by the time we get to later on Wednesday. So we are looking at that snow getting out of here by the time we get to later on Wednesday, and temperatures won't be as cold for tomorrow with highs in the mid-20s, but expect some light snow to be falling intermittently throughout the next 12 to 24 hours or so, and generally for much of the area looking at about an additional 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Farther to the north and west, that number goes up to about 3 to 5 inches. So your 7 to 10 day forecast, the snow just keeps on coming, folks. It won't be particularly heavy, which is the good news. The bad news is it will be almost constant. We are looking at chance of snow on Thursday, then Friday into Saturday, some more accumulating snow possible. That looks like another 1 to 3 inches at this point, but we'll continue to keep you updated. And we'll also keep you updated on the cold that's coming for this weekend. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. We are taking a live look at Todd Drive and the Beltline. We are noticing some slow go in both directions, but we're starting to see those normal brake lights that you might expect Tuesday afternoon on the Beltline. No major accidents or incidents to report. Just give yourself a few extra minutes both to navigate Beltline traffic and also to navigate the light snow. Here are your drive times. A little bit slow from University Ave eastbound to Verona Road. That's 10 minutes. Average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And some other routes in and around Madison, Sun Prairie, southbound on 151 to downtown, running a little bit slow right now. 12 minutes, average speed of around 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5. New numbers show that more people are falling behind on their auto loan payments. We'll have that story when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Despite the booming economy and positive job numbers, analysts are seeing a troubling trend.
More people are falling behind on their car loan payments. Mary Maloney has more in today's Consumer Watch.
Some 7 million Americans are 90 or more days behind on their car loans. That's according to new data released by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The bank says this is the highest number of people in delinquency since it started taking this data 19 years ago. So with a strong economy and labor market, why are the delinquencies rising? Economists say the data shows not everyone is benefiting from the current financial situation and say auto loans offer a more accurate measure of financial burden. When it comes to credit card debt, people can dial back on their payments. That's not the case when it comes to car loans. Payments are fixed, and there's no wiggle room in case you're low on cash one month. Experts say to avoid falling behind, be smart during the buying process. One tip? Make a good down payment to get a lower monthly payment. And this is an obvious one. New cars depreciate quickly, so consider buying a used one instead. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
The data shows younger Americans are struggling with car loans the most.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
On tonight's CBS Evening News, we are on the ground in Hanoi. So is the president and Kim Jong-un as a second summit ratchets up the stakes. We also have news tonight on Michael Cohen from back home on tonight's CBS Evening News.
And a Minnesota mom is cleaning out her minivan after a door was left wide open during a snowstorm.
Stephanie Hokinson of Claremont, Minnesota posted photos of the snow-filled van. Oh my gosh, on Facebook. About 10 inches of snow fell during this storm. She said she asked her fiancé to shut the door, but he assumed she already did that.
They never
She
listen.
said it gave them a good laugh.
The baby's not in that baby season.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm actually in that picture. I'm the middle snowbank right there.
That is a Minnesota minivan.
Oh,
Look at that.
I can hear her yelling from here. My goodness.
Soon we will be done with this, but not quite yet.
Soon, yeah. We get a couple of chances for snow over the next few days, and maybe some slight accumulation with a few of those as well. Here's what Doppler track looks like across southern Wisconsin right now. Some light snow falling, maybe some freezing drizzle trying to mix in at times throughout this system, but really shouldn't impact us too much. A couple of slick spots are possible, so give yourself a few extra minutes to navigate that snow. Wind chills, though, it still feels pretty cold outside. -4 in Madison, -6 in the Dells. For tonight, light snow and some freezing drizzle, about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation possible by the time we get to later on Wednesday. Then a chance of snow Thursday, more accumulating snow Friday night into Saturday. Then we lose the snow, but we gain the cold with temperatures at night close to 10 below 0.
We really need the snow to melt, right, before we start seeing some.
Yeah.
Which means we need warm weather to melt the snow.
Anytime now.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I'm trying.
We're back in 30 minutes. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.